Everyone, my name is Ebony Brown, and the play I will be discussing with you all is The Colored Museum by George C. Wolfe, which is my personal favorite. The aspect of the play I'll be discussing is African American culture. The play itself illustrates a different aspect of African American life in the 1980s during a time of racism and oppression. Each of the exhibits are showing different examples of racism, oppression, struggles, hardships, and challenges and so forth that African Americans as a whole had to face. So the first exhibit, which is Get on Board, specifically deals with slavery, which shows the root of the racism and oppression and how all the struggles and hardships that came about of the reason why it took place was because of slavery and just the racist attitudes and just the beliefs and the prejudice attitudes and beliefs just developed over time and made it a national issue. So the second exhibit, which is Cooking with Aunt Ethel, deals with the stereotypical mammy character, which portrays the personality of an African American, just how they typically are, but and the third exhibit, which is the photo session, where this black couple has internalized values of materialism and consumerism. Basically, they're just not living in reality. Everything is just behind the camera. They have no social life. Not feeling any emotions through the camera. It's all rehearsed. Everything's rehearsed. Nothing's real. Nothing's personal. And also the gospel. I would like to talk about also the Gospel According to Miss Rouge, which deals directly with homophobia. Not most African Americans are comfortable with homophobia, and Miss Rouge talks directly about the oppression she has to face because typically in African American culture, African Americans look down on homosexuality as a whole. It's something that they don't accept. So they look at people weird, and if you notice how some of them are around, or how some of them express their feelings towards homosexuality, some are okay with it, or some don't care about it, some do. But typically in African American culture, it's not really accepted. Just for some people, it's a majority of the African Americans, don't accept homosexuality. So she deals with directly how she wants to be treated as like anyone else, regardless of her sexual orientation, and she talks about the struggles and the oppression and the racism she receives just for being different, and not like the typical, person that, people expect individuals to be. She's different. She is an entirely different person, and she expresses how she feels and how she expects to be treated, and what she demands and wants to be treated as such, with respect and with dignity. So, in one of the exhibits, the hair piece, deals directly with European influence ideas on beauty. How if you watch like the movie The Colored Museum, you will see like the two the hair weaves, arguing back and forth as to which one they should wear, as to, for the date the girl's going on to. And they're arguing back and forth, and um, they're arguing about as to why this wig should be worn as opposed to the other one. And overall, it's just they're basically arguing over what's hot and what's not. And it's just they're not embracing the idea of just being bald, and they're not they're just not they're only they're conformed to one different standard of beauty, is like how a white person would look. Like that's like the typical standard of beauty that has been, known to be accepted. If you look at all the TV advertisements on TV and magazines and billboards and almost all around you, most of the people that are being advertised are Caucasian, or they're not African American, and they're really thin, and they may have blonde hair or black hair, a different type of hair, or whatever the case may be. So, and then there's another exhibit in the play, which is Last Mama on the Couch play, which deals directly with the struggles to the typical African American family life while living in poverty, and it's like a parody of A Raisin in the Sun, because they deal directly with the of how they're feeling and all the issues and struggles that they're having in their lives, and how frustrated that they are. Symbiosis, which deals with assimilation. Assimilation is conforming to another culture and just forsaking your past for whatever reasons, and conforming to another culture, or to something different that's not a part of your life. And it's also the same as Lala's opening as well, which shows how this girl forsakes her past to seek another life, to overcome the oppression and pain. They just rather deal with assimilation than as opposed to just dealing with the racism and oppression that they're facing during their time. So rather than just dealing with it and just accepting who they are as a people, they rather just conform to something else. So the purpose of this play overall, the author was trying to just send a message out to his readers, mainly African Americans, to look closely at their history, to see the ways they have been limited by racism and oppression, to be able to move forward with their lives. And he also wants people to see the evils of racism and oppression, and the attitudes displayed within the play are seen as exhibits, because they're showing different pieces of African American culture, or different museum pieces, and you're unable to unchange them. So because they're part of the past, and what's in the past is in the past, and you can't change it. So in order to overcome the challenges that African Americans have faced, African Americans as a people have to be willing to move forward as a people and to really not forget about the past. And also just to be true to themselves and embrace their culture and just accept the fact that they're a unique culture regardless of how people feel, think, or believe. Regardless, everyone is a unique culture. Everyone has their own unique cultures, and it's important to just embrace your culture and just accept your culture for what it really is rather than just conform to something else.